You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. I'm Adam, and I am presently your host. We're going to bring you a thrilling tale today, but first we are contractually obliged to present these words from our sponsors.
Hello, my name is Thrall. Thank you for purchasing this audio reading of my most recent monograph, The Socio-Economic Impact of the Collapse of the Republic and the Rise of the Galactic Empire on the Whistable Miners of Hemiron 6, 7, and 9. This monograph is dedicated to my new friend Jason. I hope it will provide him with some inspiration, and I look forward to reading his own work in due course. Footnotes and references are provided in the final index, following the traditions of the Eucalinite school of referencing, although you can at any point jump to that reference using the voice command, reference. Pressy. In this monograph, I will discuss the following things.
Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Adam. I am your GM for Chapter 2, Episode 11 of the Coldfire Chronicles. I am joined round this table by several wonderful players, and they're going to introduce themselves to you this very moment. Go.
Hi, my name is Ed Fortune. I play the character of Oberon Drake. I am a human hunter-seeker. My emotional strength is justice, and my weakness is cruelty.
Hi, I'm Ross. I'm playing Agatha, a Marialan warrior aggressor whose emotional strength is his pride, but whose weakness is his anger.
Hi, I'm Mim. I'm playing Lassa. She's a human sentinel artisan. Her emotional strength is her curiosity, but her weakness is obsession.
And hi, I'm Mikey. I'm playing Daverin. He's a Chiss mystic advisor whose emotional strength is his enthusiasm, but his emotional weakness is his recklessness.
And before we rejoin our heroes trapped in the dark on a derelict but perhaps not entirely abandoned freighter, let's have a question from our characters.
Agatha?
Yes.
You're not afraid of the dark, are you?
Agatha is afraid of the dark. Agatha does not like being in the dark.
Oh.
Agatha used to fight in the dark, was short trial run of night fighting, in pit fighting. Not so successful for Agatha. Could not see what was fighting.
Oh dear.
Did not go well.
Let's see if we can find a torch, eh?
Yes, please.
We rejoin our heroes. At present, Jaren and Lassa are trapped on one side of an airlock in the old HWK-290 freighter, the Coster Thibaren. On the other side, Oberon and Agatha. The lights are dim. Not so much brightening the scene enough for our heroes to be able to see, more highlighting the shape of the darkness. A voice has crackled over the intercom with an ominous message. And deep in the bowels of the Stygian blackness of the ship, our heroes can hear skittering sounds. What do we do? Who wants to go first?
Do our external suits have suit lights?
They do. They have pencil torches on.
I'm turning that on.
Okay.
Agatha is doing that as well, otherwise you wouldn't have been the first in. Are we still in the airlock with both doors sealed?
Nope.
Okay.
You and Oberon are in the ship.
Right. The other two are trapped in the airlock?
Yes, the other two are trapped in the airlock in between the two doors.
Hello.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure which door how many doors we'd gotten through at this point. We've got through two rather than one. Okay.
Yes. The pencil-thin beams of your shoulder lights do cast some light into the insides of the Coster Thibaren. And what you can mostly see moving around as best you can is that you are on what would be the main cargo bay of the Coster Thibaren, and it has been gutted. The wall panels are hanging off. Most of the internal cablings appears to have gone. There are a number of smashed crates scattered around, but that's pretty much all you can see at the moment. It appears to be a much bigger space than you had expected, and certainly that you might have encountered on a Hawk 290 before. Maybe the cargo bay has been expanded out somewhat or something else has happened, but it's difficult to quite make out given that all you've got is reasonably thin torches. You could try and turn your torch beam to be more of a diffuse close-up thing, but at that point you missed the long range. It's making that trade-off between how far and how much do you want to see.
I've got an exceptionally tricked out rifle.
You do?
I start looking down the scope.
Okay. Can you please make me a perception test? The difficulty is going to be 1 purple, 1 red, and 2 setback die.
Blimey. Do I get any equipment bonuses?
I'll give you a boost.
Okay. 2 successes and 1 threat.
Okay. The success is that you can see that there is some movement in here. Humanoid, but right at the moment on the edges of how far you can reach out. And every time you try to bring your rifle to bear to get a better look, and this is a threat, they skitter out of sight again. So you're still very much getting peripherals. It looks like there's maybe 6 vaguely humanoid figures moving, but they are keeping right at the edges of where you can see. And yeah, every time you try to bring a bead on them and your lights get in that area, they disappear down again. At the moment, they are at medium range from where you are. If they get a bit closer or you get a bit closer, then you'll probably have a better idea of what's going on. But they are moving wrong as well. They are moving wrong and unsettling. Their gestures are jerky, then will become fluid as they kind of drop behind some of these ruined crates and protuberances of grating and bent up bits of metal. Over to Lasser and Jaren in the airlock.
So the mag locks have gone on?
Yeah.
Did we hear the voice over the intercom?
You did. The maglocks have gone in on the inside door, not on the outside door.
Brilliant.
Can you get it open?
Depends. Do you ever want to get it closed again?
I have an idea. So there is a way of communicating with the internal of the ship, isn't there, from here? They heard us. So I reach over to the button, I press the button, and I say, "Let us in," and push out with my force power.
Okay.
Is everyone going to respond to that? Or, I mean, are Albert and I going to be trying to
I
respond?
don't know who I'm speaking to.
Yeah.
So it's just a push. So we'll see what I get. What am I rolling here?
The difficulty is an opposed discipline
Doing it
test.
against the person who can let me in.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is an opposed discipline test. Ross, Ed, what are your discipline scores?
I have 2 green.
I have green and yellow.
Okay, Mikey, your
Yes.
difficulty is a red and a purple.
Okay, so that is 3 successes but 2 threat.
Okay. Ross, Ed, you are overwhelmed with a compulsion to let Jaren in.
Well, that's interesting because we were hoping to do that anyway.
But it's overwhelming compulsion at this moment in time. For the threat, I'm going to inflict a strain on you, a strain on Ross, and a strain on Ed. But other than that, nothing else appears to be happening at this moment in time. Lasser, are you going to try and do anything?
Okay, is there a general emergency release around here or a smash with hammer in case of fire thing?
There is, yes. It appears to have already been smashed.
Of course.
Oberon starts looking for the other on my side, or the smash
Yeah.
to open, because that's the useful thing I can do because I'm not super strong.
It has been smashed
Oh.
on your side. The manual releases, the manual opening thing is there, but at present the maglocks are on, so you're not going to be able to just muscle through it.
Based on the number of successes that Mikey got, though, I think we're trying.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that you're doing your best and you're kind of bashing buttons and trying to move things, but yeah, it is sealed.
Yeah.
Okie dokie, I'm just looking. Because I have the right tool for the job as a passive, do I by any chance happen to have a couple of strong magnets that I can use to try and move the magnets with? So I have magnets that will attach to their magnets or will connect forcefully via their magnets, and I can try and drag the maglocks down or up or out or in or whichever way frees the door.
Well, I would certainly allow you to make a mechanics test to try to open it, which is
the basic way of saying, can I open the door?
Yes.
And I just found a complicated way of doing it.
It's all good. It's thematic. Yes, I'll let you give that the old college try.
Okie dokie.
If on the other side of the door, Agatha wanted to try and apply a shotgun to where he thought the magnets were, would that try and deactivate anything?
Who knows? Feel free to give
This
it a
sounds
try.
like an exceptionally dangerous thing we should definitely try and do.
Okay. So, first of all, Mim, I would like a mechanics test from you, please.
Okay, what difficulty,
The
please?
difficulty is going to be 3 purple and 2 black.
This is horrible.
And as you're working on that and kind of getting your magnets, you hear back over the intercom,
Flesh. More flesh.
That is disconcerting.
Anyone here cold flesh? No, flesh isn't here, I'm afraid. All right. Altogether, that is 1 triumph, 1 success, and 3 threat, plus 1 dark side point.
Success and threat seems to be a popular combination at the moment.
I know. It'd be nice to do something in a non-threatening way, but apparently not. I do not wish to use the dark side point. I'm not panicking yet. I'm just miffed.
Okay, well, you do manage to move the maglock out of the way enough that you can start getting this door open, especially when on the other side you've got Agatha and Oberon frantically trying to mash the buttons. What would you like your triumph to be? I have a suggestion if you have nothing else.
I would like to hear your suggestion.
My suggestion is that in doing this, you cut off whatever the override was that allowed this to be locked remotely, so that you have your way off the ship secured.
Yep, that's fair. I was going to say the door is still a functioning door, but the fact that it's a safe functioning door is better. Thank you so much.
Okay, so you manage to get the doors open with Agatha's assistance on the other side, and those threats are going to be used to give me a bonus as we go into initiatives.
Oh, of course.
Vigilance test, please, people.
I have a success and 3 advantage.
I've just got 2 advantage, no success for Lasser.
3 successes.
2 successes.
Okay, so it will be a player character slot first, and this is what you can see. So Agatha at the moment has got his hands kind of working the manual override, complementing Lasser's magnetic jiggery-pokery from inside the airlock. Oberon is mashing the button and trying to keep an eye on what's going on as well. Jiren is at the back of the airlock watching over everyone to see what's going on, not getting in the way of what's happening. And from in the darkness of the ship come moving in these 6 figures that are moving into what little light's being kind of cast out from everyone's shoulder lamps. They're presently at short range, as we're going to be kind of going into initiative properly. What they appear to be are desiccated corpses, mostly human, one of which is a Zabrak. They have tiny pinpricks of light glowing in the eye sockets of the skull. They have just about able to be visible what looks like the antennae of comlinks bolted onto the back of the skull, and their limbs have droid-style servo motors providing motive function, and they are moving in at some speed. Because this is 0G, you've got 2 that are kind of running across the floor using presumably fingers and toes. You can't quite, because again the light here is so grim, to hook into the gridding to propel them. You've got 2 that have just kicked off from a wall and are coming at you like human missiles. And you've got one that's climbing the wall and is moving alongside, and one that's coming across the ceiling and down. And they're all advancing in.
I really wish we had Brendan Fraser here with us right now. He'd know what to do in this situation, I think.
First PC.
Can I take the first player slot and shoot one? Okay, I stop monkeying around with the panel, put my other hand on the start of the gun, and shoot.
Okay, first can you please make me a discipline test, difficulty 2.
Oh no. They're not still trying to let random things in, are they? Oh no.
I get 1 advantage, but no success.
Okay, so you failed your fear test, which means that you are at a setback die to all actions until the end of this encounter. But with that advantage, you can give the next PC who has to make a fear test a boost die to their roll if you wish.
Okay.
But yeah, as you draw a bead on these things, you are just absolutely freaked out by them. You know, living creatures, you have no problem with fighting particularly, but these are not living. And especially because you're only able to pick up kind of glimpses of them as they're moving in. Yeah, they are unsettling sight.
The way I've given that advantage is my expression of fear is he goes, "That's just unsporting," which is such an Oberon thing to say that it kind of lightens the mood. Doesn't lighten the mood for me. I'm terrified. But, you know, difficulty 2?
They're at short range, so it's difficulty 1, 2 setback die for the darkness. Because though you've got a torch, it's not...
So is that 3 setback die in total? Or?
Yes, 3 setback die in total.
I'll spend a light side point to upgrade one of my greens.
Are we struggling from gravity at all at this point? Are we comfortable with madlocks?
You are struggling from gravity, but because all Oberon's doing is turning, bracing his back against the wall and shooting, I'm not going to hit you with the penalty for this shot, because you're standing still.
Just to clarify on that one, we're still in 0G. So it's not maglocks that's keeping us bolted to the floor.
No, you're
right, okay.
You're floating.
It was just the doors, right? Okay.
Yeah, the maglocks are for the doors only. No, there is no gravity on this ship.
Okay.
1 success and 2 advantage.
Okay. So how much damage is that?
Let me just double check. Not enough to activate a crit, unfortunately. That's 10 damage.
10 damage.
And can I spend the advantage in a way that slows it down?
Well, that's enough to take one of them out.
Oh, okay.
So that one
That's
of them
pretty slow.
just shatters apart. You want to give it a setback down its next action?
I want to give the other fours a setback there, because what I've done is I've cut it in half and there's bits of it floating.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Which is convenient, because the rest of that minion group are the ones that are next to go and are angling in on you, given that you've now painted a nice bright line for them to follow in, and they're making their way in and attempting to claw at you, Oberon.
Crikey, says Oberon.
But yeah, the remaining two in that group, which is one of the ones that's scampering across the floor and one of the ones that's scampering across the wall, zero in on you. And they hit you for 7 damage, minus your soak.
Okay.
Another player character.
If I let go of the controls or whatever it is I'm doing to get rid of the maglock, is that door going to close shut on the other two?
No, it's not, because Lassa's got it under her control.
Right, I'm not still
So
holding.
it will stay open until Lassa says otherwise.
Well, in that case, I want to turn and hit something.
Okay.
As it's coming in, but
Some of the ones engaged presently with Oberon, or are you going to move your way out and engage the other ones that are kind of coming in that haven't quite made it yet?
I'm going to go with away from the others, just so I'm causing less damage to the people who are next to. I'm assuming because I'm wearing an environment suit that I've been dealing with doors, I've not put shot gauntlets or something on the outside of my gloves or anything like that.
Probably not, no.
Yeah, so I'm going to be entirely barehanded with this. Okay, so I'm going to punch whichever one's nearest or whichever one's coming at me fastest.
Okay, the nearest ones are the ones that's on Oberon because they're right by you, but there are other ones moving in.
I'm going to move into more open space further away from the others.
Okay, so you're going to engage in the other group, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I can see them, yes.
Okay, so you move in. Can you please make me a fair test, difficulty 2? So it's a discipline test, 2 purple.
But get a bonus die.
But you get a boost die to this from Oberon.
Nothing.
Okay, so you are at a setback die to all of your actions then?
Yep.
Until the end of the encounter. So you move in. They are not going to make a fair test from you engaging. Strangely enough, they're not afraid of you.
No. I was anticipating that at this point, Agatha probably wasn't making a fearsome check against them either.
Okay, so brawl attack from your part. The difficulty is 2 purple, 3 black. 2 from the 0G, 1 from the fear.
Wasn't there some from lighting conditions as well?
Yes, 1 extra setback, yeah, so it's 4. I never go higher than 4 setback, but yes, from the lighting conditions, it's...
Agatha is having fun.
Thank you for reminding me of that one, Mikey.
It's just it doesn't count for me, so it's...
Yeah.
We have 3 success, 2 threat, 2 light side, and dark side. I'm going to use both light side.
Okay.
5 success barehanded is not necessarily going to be... It's probably better to use 3 success and cancel out the threat.
Okay.
So just 3 success.
So it's 3 plus your brawn, which is...
Which is 3.
That's 6.
So 6.
Okay, you engage in with the other one that's cannonballing itself across the open area and kind of crash into it, and you both start pirouetting a little bit around in 0G, flailing punches into it. And you do start knocking parts of it loose. It's not the best connected together, and it's a very old skeleton. You know, as you're hitting it in the ribs, its ribs are shattering around your hands and there's little bits of bone chips floating around. But it's still mobile and active and somewhat cross.
Yeah, I've sort of assumed I'd probably aim for the droid parts if that's an obvious weak point, because the rest of it's not going to hold itself together. But on the other hand, it's not easy fighting in 0G.
That creature that you're engaged with at the moment is going to attempt to claw you back. The other 2 that were making their way in that weren't engaged with Oberon divert to join this one and basically swarm you into a big flailing ball in midair of claws and kicks and bony protuberances.
That's okay. Agatha likes being surrounded. It means there's, less chance of missing.
That is 8 damage.
Ouch.
And 1 advantage. I'm going to use that advantage as a bouncing boost. So the next time a minion group goes, they will get a boost die to their attack.
Is that, sorry, that's minus soak or anything?
Minus soak. Yeah.
Okay, good.
As their claws, you can't quite work out if their fingertips are just sharp because it's just, bone chunks, or if they've been augmented with bits of metal attached to them, or if they've been sharpened, but these are tearing into you and just trying to puncture your environment suit and are gripping, and at the moment you're not losing air from it, but it is hurting with these rending attacks they're trying to make on you.
Okay, Agatha's still got that amount of pride which isn't refusing to go help, but...
Okay, next player character.
All right. Is there an obvious button to turn on gravity by any chance?
Not in here, no.
Okay. Would I have to go past the nasty, horrible things to go and put some gravity on?
You would. You'd have to try and find yourself a computer console nearby.
Okay. In that case, I've got a bit of a plan. Tell me if this is too far-fetched. I used 2 handheld magnet things for breaking into the ship.
Yep.
Are these droids magnetic at all? These droid zombies?
There's not really enough, from what you can see, because One group of them is a swirling, like rotating ball of them and Agatha. The two that are remaining clawing at Oberon, they're moving quite quickly, so you can't quite... They're certainly not droids.
Yeah.
It's just actuator modes, and you can't get a good enough look at the moment to see if there's anything there to hunk onto. It might be that you can click and then try to pull them away, if you see what I mean, but it would be a minimal contact surface, if anything.
Okay, in that case, I'm just going to try and punch them in the head with a magnet. If I were to move forward, would I be more likely to bump into one that was going for anyone, or one that's already on?
It would be either of the ones that's currently on Oberon, because he's being a bit swarmed at the moment.
Okay, I'm going to move up to Oberon then and swing at them with both of my magnets, almost going to try and crush you the skull way.
Okay.
Let's see if I can do anything there, so...
Discipline test first. 2 purple is the difficulty.
No. That is 2 failure and 2 advantage. So I'm about to go and help Oberon, but I imagine as I see them, I'm a little scared.
Frighty. Yes, so, well, with a failure, that is going to be a setback die to every action until the end of the encounter. 2 advantage, though. You can give Jaren 2 boost die to his discipline test when he has to roll to evade fear if he does.
Is that instead of doing another action, or...?
Because this is specifically a fear check, I think they need to be used on specific fear check things, unfortunately.
That's fine.
But yeah, these things are horrid. They are horrid.
Okay, I will instead swing and a miss with the magnety things, and I'll just go blooming heck.
Well, that was only your fear test. You can still make your brawl attack. It's just that as you've moved in, you've gone...
I think it might be more worth it if I just try and move on to kill the gravity or do something. Yeah.
Okay.
So rather than engaging, since they're a bit too horrid, I don't think Lasso would go in there.
If you're prepared to flip a light side point, I will put a computer terminal within range for you to get to at the end of this turn. Not close enough for you to do anything with, but between using your magnets and things, you can at least get to a comm terminal in the wall.
I'd like that very much.
Okay.
For the benefit of listeners at home, everybody in the room just nodded furiously at Larsa.
Jaren.
Okay, Jaren goes, oh, that is why that didn't work. Everybody! And I'm not using any force powers or anything like that. Do not be afraid of them. They fall apart very easily. Look at the one that Oberon has shot. We can do this. And I'm going to do a leadership test to get rid of the fear.
Okay.
So it's against they were 2...
Yeah, they're a rating, fear rating 2.
So 2 of those. Any setback or anything like that?
I'm going to give you 1 setback, I think.
I do like it when you do that because I ignore setback.
Okay.
But, there's no point in...
Yeah, exactly. Then yes, there we are. Yeah, it's just this is horrid setback. A generic oogie boogie setback.
Okay, so this is great. 1 dark side, 1 fret, and 1 failure.
Uh-ohs.
Our favourite numbers.
You know what? I think we're just going to...
Be afraid.
Be afraid for a while. He doesn't seem to have a great deal of conviction in what he's saying. And I believe I should probably roll a discipline test as well.
Yes, please, at this point.
That's 3 successes and 1 fret. So I'm not afraid, but I imagine the strain of us all.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You can't make us not be afraid, because whereas you are not afraid and it should be inspirational, we just think you're too stupid to realise how scary this is. You're like, it's okay, everybody, it's fine. And we're like, no, you're a moron.
I
We're
love the
dead.
fact that you all think that Jaren is stupid.
No, I don't think you're stupid. I prefer to think you're stupid.
I think it's more with Oberon who's just gone, yes, you would say that. And that's great, and that's great for you. Well done, you.
Okay, back round to the top. Next player character.
Can I go again? Or do you want to punch things?
I do want to punch things, but I don't know whether the ones attacking you are going to go before the ones attacking me.
Depends how saucy I'm feeling. 1 NPC group will go straight after this slot, so...
Go for it.
Okay, can I point blank with the rifle? Or will I have to try and manoeuvre?
You can attempt to point blank with your rifle, but it is 3 difficulty.
Right. Would it be an additional action, or is it a move action to coordinate out of the melee? Because I'm in 0G.
It would be a manoeuvre, but I'd make you also have to roll a coordination test because you're just not used to it and it's difficult.
I'm happy to take advantage of the fact that we're in 0G to brace my legs against the wall, and basically what I plan to do is jump horizontally and then get a bead and shoot.
Yeah, Die Hard style.
Yeah, that'll look really cool if I don't die.
Rule of cool is a good rule. So I'm going to have you roll a coordination test to break free.
Yeah.
The difficulty is going to be 2 purple
Yep.
plus 1 setback for your fear
Yep.
And that's it, I think, because the setbacks for darkness and 0G don't really count, because you're using the 0G to your advantage, but not enough to give you a bonus. And the darkness, you don't really care where you're going, you're just going away. So
I get 2 advantage and no success.
Okay. I will let you parlay that into getting away, but the difficulty of your shot will be increased.
Okay.
It won't be the single purple that you normally get for firing at short range. I'm going to have it still be the 3 purple, because you're firing as you're pushing back. You can parlay those 2 advantages into 2 boost die. Your difficulty is 3 purple and 3 black.
3 black. Oh,
Yeah.
blimey, okay.
Yep. 1 for the fear and 2 for the 0G at this point. No difficulty for the darkness because they're right there and they're illuminated.
That's a lot of dice.
You're spraying an area where you know for a fact they are, because that's where you've just been. I imagine it that you're firing as you're kicking back and just spraying and praying.
So 4 successes and 2 threat.
That is enough to take them both out. So what does that look like as you're flying away?
So I boost up, basically on my back, shooting, and it's like there's a small shot, and then there's another shot, and its head comes off, and it smashes into the other one, and its head comes off. I'd like to point out as threat that I'm currently flying, and Lyssa's about to turn off the gravity.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I will use those threats in a matter that is thematically appropriate depending on what Lassa rolls. I think I'm going to bank those just briefly. And they've been taken out, so that means it is the ones on Hagatha.
Cheers. Thanks for that.
They rend into you.
Ouch.
Okay. I got 2 success and 5 advantage, so this is what's going to happen. Those 2 successes mean that they are doing to you 7 damage.
Okay.
Okay.
Back to 3 because of soak.
I'm using 3 of those advantage to crit you. I got 57. Agonizing wound. You increase the difficulty of all brawn and agility checks by 1 until the end of the encounter. Okay.
Okay.
As they've torn into you, and that dovetails neatly with what the rest of the advantage is being used in. They have torn a chunk off you and your suit. So your suit is starting to your suit has depressurized now from this. The oxygen supply that's attached to your suit is now pumping out into the ship. Fortunately, you're not immediately suffocating, which suggests that maybe there's air in the ship at the moment, which is a good job because your suit is no longer space-proof.
Yeah. To some extent, I assume that because the airlock had depressurized.
Yeah.
But it may have been a false assumption, because it could have been just the airlock that was pressurised.
It could have been, yeah. But yes, your suit is no longer environmentally sealed at this
Okay.
present in time. I mean, luckily, Lassa's got some gaffer, so he can probably fix it in short order.
Yeah,
but
that'll definitely
at the
be
moment,
the trick.
you are bleeding out and your blood is kind of misting and blobbing around in the 0G as liquids do, highlighted occasionally by the flashes from your torch as it kind of goes through, giving it a bit of a prism effect.
Oh, you basically become a living lava lamp.
Oh, thank you.
Next player character.
Can I punch them, please?
I recommend that you go last, actually, because both of us are going to give you advantages to things.
Okay.
So let's give us a go, and then you can punch them.
All right.
So, Lassa?
Do you want to try and get some gravity on here? All right, if I can, I'm going to access the computer system. And I think the first thing is to try and get the environment back to normal. So that's some oxygen happening and some gravity.
Okay. In the heat of combat, I'm going to assume, unless you get really well on your rolls, that you can do one system at a time, assuming you succeed. Because it's not that simple as just going beep, 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 as you will see as you start slicing in. If you do really well on your rolls, we can
Let's
look
hope
into
for an
that more.
integrated startup system which covers all life support and environmental controls. But if not, we'll have to start with gravity, because otherwise the oxygen's going to do weird things when you breathe it in. So it's going to have to be gravity first.
Okay, so it's a slicing test. The difficulty is going to be, I'm going to spend a dark side point, is 1 purple, 1 red, 1 setback die for your fear, and a further setback die for defensive sysops, built-in fail-safes.
Alright, so 1 purple, 1 red, and a setback dice.
2 setback die.
2 setback die.
Yep.
Remember that you have a data spike, which gives you bonuses to slicing.
It's 2 booster slicing, isn't it?
It is.
Is that a one use?
No.
No.
Let's use that then. This is too important to not do it.
The amount Jiren spent on it, he doesn't want that to be a one use.
Okay, so just to confirm then, from your side we've got a red, a purple and 2 blacks.
Yep.
And from my side then, with computers, I've got 2 yellow, 1 green and 2 boost dice from the data spike.
Yep.
Alright, hold on to your butts. 2 advantage.
Okay. And no successes. So,
You
are...
bought me a faulty data spike.
Gifted you.
All right, you've gifted me a faulty data spike.
It's illegal. What do you expect?
Did you have
Quality
this-
control.
We've just uploaded 5 seasons of Heights and Depths into a computer.
Well, that's what I used it for. So yeah. Okay.
So,
This is light entertainment, there's not much gravity in it.
okay, so you're not able to turn the gravity on at this moment, but you do have 2 advantages. Any ideas what you want to do with those things?
Can those advantages, by any way, be showing me a subsection of the system, or there's something I can see about these nasty things that are attacking us? Are they linked into the ship in any way? Are they... I mean, I know they've got a comms system on them.
Okay. Yes, there is. It is a very, very heavily encrypted comm channel that is linking all of these things. You can pick up that there is chatter going between them and some central point in the ship, but it is very, very heavily encrypted.
All right.
But yes, that'll be one advantage, I think. Anything for your second advantage?
Not getting hit?
Boost die to your next slicing test.
That would be very helpful.
Okie dokie. And since Lassiter hasn't managed to get the gravity on, what's going to happen with your threat floating over on is that you're going to cross the cargo space and get caught in a grate on the other side,
Okay.
behind a bit of debris. So your foot is trapped in a grate, and it means that any further shots you try to make are going to be even more awkward. So yeah, one of those threat is going to be a setback die to your next roll. The other one is that your foot is trapped for a round. Just for a round, you can kick out once you've got a bit more leverage, but at the moment, yeah, you're kind of wedged in a bit of grate. Next player character.
Okay, so Jiren is not scared. Agatha is scared. Jiren doesn't know that Agatha's scared, but he's going to do something incredibly heroic to try and snap Agatha out of this. So he's in the airlock. He steps back and he pushes off with his feet straight towards the minion group that Agatha is fighting. Arms out bared. I mean, he plows into them, but that's not the damage. It's essentially showing up Agatha in the fact that you're a little scared, but Jiren can't fight. Why is Jiren going for it? So essentially, I want to do another leadership test.
I'll absolutely allow that, and in fact give you a boost die to that roll, because, rule of cool.
See, I'm just picturing the coat flowing out behind him as well in a Superman style.
And also putting yourself in that level of danger, yeah, I think that deserves a reward. For me, I think that's appropriate rule of cool.
I can totally imagine that J-Red has put his coat on outside his environment suit.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
Yeah, he tried to put it on inside at first, but it just didn't fit.
It's crumpled really badly, this is velvet.
So, so that is... That is 3 successes, 1 light side point, and 1 advantage. So you're being attacked, and suddenly Jiren barrels into one of them going, "Hey!" He's not scared. Why would you be? And I think that's enough to get rid of his setback. And I can make that into 2 advantages if need be.
When you make a leadership test for something like this, can you spend advantages to affect other allies?
You can, yes, that's exactly what it has. So I can use it against bystanders. What I would like to do is use those 2 advantages to unfear the others.
Yeah, that's the entire group unfeared, as Jiren shames you all with his wanton act of bravery.
Gonna die now.
Did Jiren cause any damage while he did that?
No.
No.
He's engaged with them, but that's it.
Okay.
He's fighting like a couple of 5-year-olds fight. There's lots of flailing and slapping, but no actual damage.
Agatha would like to hit something now.
Well, the benefit is that the setback die from fear has gone.
Excellent.
And I'm not going to impose a setback die for the darkness because they're on you. They're all around you. You can see well enough what you're swiping at. So it's 2 purple and 2 black because you still have the setback die from the gravity.
Some of that has not gone well. So we have 2 failure, 3 threat, and 3 dark side points.
Would you like to draw upon your anger and draw upon the dark side, which will cost you flipping a light side point and 3 strain, but give you those 3 pips that you can then spend to turn that failure into a success?
Agatha is going to do that because...
Yes, give in to your hatred.
Because Agatha is in the middle of a rather dangerous situation and the suit's been torn.
Okay, so that turns that into a single success, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, but still has 3 threats. Okay, so you do not quite manage to take out one, but you are ripping it into chunks. All that's left of one of them that's on you is a clawed arm that is wedged into your collarbone, kind of through the suit, and like half of its torso and its head. So it's still kind of hurting you by gripping, but it's mostly shredded at this point. Still in the fight, but it's so badly damaged that one good blow from you again, or one good blow from anyone, will shatter that one into pieces. As for the threat, those threats are going to be spent like this. The next player character to go is going to take an additional setback because your blood is just in the air getting in the way, and in the darkness, in the fear, in the sound of that, because you're all still in your environment suit, so what you can actually hear is through the comms and then everything else very, very muffled, which again will at least give you the nod that there is air here because you're able to hear from outside of the suits. But your blood is still floating around a 0G, it's getting in the way of people, and it's just adding an extra additional layer of ick to everything that's going on. The remaining threat that you rolled is going to shred your environment suit even more.
Okay.
So it's tatters at the moment.
It's just irreparable.
No, it's still repairable at the moment, but
Okay.
it's going to be a difficult job, and you will end up being more gaffer tape than suits. But given a bit of time, Lasser or someone else might be able to repair it enough to let you survive the quick jaunt from here to the Coldfire's mercy when you escape. But at the moment, it will end up being more gaffer than suit. It is shredded around you, and that's what I think I'm going to spend those threat on. It is their turn.
Yes.
And they're going to attempt to continue shredding you. They are absolutely kind of focused on just ripping you apart, I'm afraid, Agatha. After everything rolled, that's 3 successes and a threat. I'm going to use that threat effectively as strain to wipe out the minion that you've mostly demolished. I'm going to wipe that one off completely.
That's the one whose arm was in my collarbone.
Yeah, that one just depowers. Clearly, whatever vital spark was in there keeping it motif goes in the force of its attack back on you. It just drains what's left of its power. Damage-wise, that is 9 damage before soak.
Okay, I'm down to 4 wounds.
Crikey. How's Agatha reacting to this then? Paint me a picture.
Agatha was in the midst of 3 of them, had shattered the first one, but was sort of pirouetting around the other 2. They're both ripping his suit to bits while he's flailing around in 0G, trying to get hold of them, with blood splatter across what's there of his helmet at the moment, and he's generally not a calm bunny.
Okay, next player character.
I am both engaged with Agatha and the zombie robot things, right?
Yes, you are, yeah.
I stop flailing at the zombies, reach out towards Agatha, and let the force flow through me. We're going to use knowledge is power, and I'm going to try and heal him.
Okay.
Because I can see he is just a bloody mess at the moment. So, oh dear. That
Just the thing I like to hear.
is 2 dark side points. I'm going to use them.
Okay, so that's 2 strain. And describe how that feels. I will say that, as you might have gathered, the dark side is overwhelmingly strong in this place.
Jiren touches towards Agatha, and as soon as he touches him, he gets flashes of just intense anger coming off of him. And he's trying to push through that anger, but he's basically pushing into a darkness. So he can imagine it pulling up his arm, and he feels cold as he touches you. But he pushes his will in and tries to get your vitals under control, taking some of the anger into him as he does so, if that makes sense. And as he does so, you feel better, feel like your wounds closing up, and you get 6 health back.
Ooh, okay.
So, like, your healing warmth leaves you and it's just filled with dark.
Yeah, exactly. I take away something of the anger of Agatha as I do this, just pulling it inside, and that just stops him for a second, and he just floats there.
Back to the top then.
Can I hit them now?
You may hit them now, yes.
I'm going to do another brawl attack, and how many setbacks am I on this time?
You're still in 0G, so it's 2 for 0G, and the difficulty has been upgraded because you're agonising wound, so it is 3 purple, 2 black.
I have 2 success, 3 threat, and 2 dark side points. I prefer not to use the dark side points,
Okay.
but it's quite threatening. My anger has been drained away a little bit here, so I'm going to...
No, I'm overwhelmed by it.
Yes, but I'm not experiencing it, so I'm not feeling compelled to use the dark side points. So at the minute, the fact that I'm breaking stuff, but yes, obviously there's still a threat going on.
Okay. You brawl into one. Again, you do a fair amount of damage to it, not enough to rend it, but there's now one that's hanging on, and another one that's completely fine, kind of chomping onto your shoulder, so that's something. Those 3 threat, I think at the moment I'm going to be a little bit dull with and just give you 3 strain because you're bleeding out. And also, because your anger is part of what drives you, and you've had some of that vital spark sucked out by Jiren's healing, it's wearied you a little bit. Your adrenaline isn't peaking quite as much as it was. So yeah, 3 strain for your threats. Next player character.
Am I okay to go?
Yes.
I will spend my maneuver aiming.
Okay.
Because Agatha's in melee, so I'm like, not that head,
Yep.
that head, and then I shoot.
I'm going to spend a dark side point. So your difficulty is 2 red, because you're firing into melee, and 4 setback.
It's a good job I'm good at shooting.
Mm-hmm.
It's one success.
Well, that's enough.
After all of that,
At least you didn't get either of the 2 despairs that could have happened.
yes.
You know, your energy bolt streaks across the darkness, narrowly missing both Jaren and Agatha, and shreds one of these lumbering animate corpses, shattering it again. The remaining one is caught in the backlash of that and has lost some motive power, but is still at the moment extant. It is still mobile and is still kind of latched on. Last player character.
Okie dokie, let's try and get this gravity back on again. So, computers.
It's 2 purple and 1 black, and your slicing you have a boost 2 as well because of your advances remaining, so you're like 3 boost, I think.
She gives the data spike a bit of a whack to try and get it working properly again, muttering about heights and depths. Alright, finally things seem to be going her way.
Oh god, you jinxed it.
So that's 5 success and 2 advantage.
Okay, you absolutely can get gravity back on, and that's an awful lot of successes.
Come on, integrated environmental systems and life support.
So your ideal would be to switch on gravity, life support for air, and any lights that are remaining?
Yes.
Okay, that will take everything.
I'll go for that. That's basically everything we need to be able to wander around and fix other things without dying, choking, blood continually pouring out at a higher rate, freezing and things like that.
Okay,
We might need temperature if we've got an exposed suit as well.
that's all part of life support.
Okay.
So the first thing that happens is gravity kicks back on, dropping everybody out of the air and onto the deck, which creaks, but because you didn't roll any threat, doesn't actually cause anyone any harm. It might knock the wind out of you a little bit, but no one falls through the grating or anything like that.
I think given where I was...
Apart from Oberon, who's hanging by his foot from the wall at the moment.
yes,
Oh.
I kind of comically facepalm, but because there's no threat there, I stop just in enough time.
Yeah. As the gravity comes back on as well, Agatha and Jaren, they land on top of this one remaining one and crush it beneath their respective weights because it's quite flimsy and quite damaged. So that kind of shatters underneath you. Now you're on the deck, you can feel the faint thrum as life support kicks back in, but we'll come on to what the readouts for that show you in a moment, Lasser. As far as the lights go, some lights do come on. It's a very dim light in here. I mean, we're talking a couple of candles in a big room. The proper lights that should be here are missing. A number of the running lights and the emergency lights have been stripped out as well, but there are enough remaining lights that you can see it's just not great, if you get what I mean. You know, it's...
This place has been gutted, it looks like.
And that is the main thing you see now the lights are on. This place has been gutted. An awful lot of the walkways and the gantryways and the internal panelling on the walls has been taken out. You can see that a lot of the systems have been removed from the walls and the cabling and the piping. You can't quite work out where they've gone, but they have been removed, and removed quite precisely. They've not just been torn, they have been removed. The ceiling that should be above you, because on these Hawks, the cargo bay is a 2-tier, it's a 2-floor, that's all been removed to just be one big empty space. There's smashed crates and things around here that in the light you can now read in very old Arabeshi droid spares. And there are a couple of internal doors that are all closed around here. You can also see, just from where the dust is now settling, where these creatures have been waiting. You can kind of see where there's almost like bits of decay on the floor around them and on the walls as they've just gradually rotted into the surroundings. And you can see where they've torn themselves off. And as the kind of lights come on, a voice comes once again over the intercom and goes,
Must try harder, it seems. Harvest them, my children.
Alright, I need to speak to this person. I need to get on the comms now.
And that's where we're going to end it for this session. Before we go, this episode's patron is Ben Yendel and the Hydian Way family of podcasts, in fact. Both Tales and Heroes.
Hey guys.
Hello. Hello.
I mean, I could wax lyrical about how great a pair of shows they are, but I do that every episode pretty much. I'm going to say it again, they're amazing. Listen to them, they're wonderful.
Absolutely amazing.
Ben is a phenomenally sound person, and indeed all of the cast for both shows are lovely, lovely people, and we're really honoured that they're backing us. It's a thoroughly nice thing to do, and just goes to show how deeply they care about other Star Wars podcasts. They are in this for the hobby, not just for themselves. And they're amazing. They're all amazing. Listen to them, please. And we'll see the rest of you next time.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our intro music for this season is Unholy Night by Kevin MacLeod, and our outro music remains Suburban Outlaw by Forget the Whale, both used with gratitude under the Creative Commons license. If you like the show and want to interact with us, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, all of which are at Force Majeure Pod, though Twitter is probably where you're going to find us more regularly. If you enjoy what we do and want to support the show, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is via our Patreon at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod. The second is by buying us a coffee at ko-fi.com/forcemajeurepod. And the third way is by rating and reviewing us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere where you can find us. We really like reviews. It tells us that we're telling the stories that you want to hear and helps other people find us. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time.